ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for the Midday Market Report with good friends and colleagues. Year number 4 with the NCAA Insiders, Mr. Matt Grissom and Quentin Mills. As we talk college baseball, week number 1 in the books. Week number 2, here we come. Some surprises, some shockers, and one not shocker is UConn getting blown out opening day against Nebraska. Matches what they did last night on the court against Creighton. But I'm going to talk to the boys about what they saw opening weekend. Hope their teams did well, and we'll find out. So without further ado, Mr. Grissom and Mr. Mills. What's up, boys?
Good morning, Jeffrey, or afternoon now, I guess.
Yeah, it's going well. Talking a little college baseball can't ever hurt anybody.
No, and you guys are all over VSiN, and I'm talking to producers everywhere where you guys are the hit, the belle of the ball, as we like to say, and couldn't be prouder here as we begin year number 4. First weekend in the books. Mr. Grissom, what'd you see?
Well, I had the pleasure of getting to see Skip Johnson and the Oklahoma Sooners play some really good baseball in Globe Life. They went 3-0 over the weekend, and they did it with a mix of great pitching and a great offense, which is something we haven't seen over the past couple of years. We've seen, Kyson Witherspoon be able to do well on Friday nights, but they haven't really had the offensive pull to help them. So now it looks like they've got the offense paired with a really good 1-2 punch in Cameron Johnson and LJ Mercurius. And then Cole Rager, the freshman, stepping up big on Sunday to get the win. So I think Oklahoma is a team that they were projected to finish 14th in the SEC. I think they're going to end up finishing much higher than that. It looks like Skip Johnson may have taken that personal.
Q?
I'll give you a bad team. I was surprised East Carolina in the showing they put up against Xavier, who's actually traveling into Fayetteville this weekend. I just thought, that they were a team that was primed for a good season after kind of up and down last year, had a good showing in the Conway Regional, just fell short against, obviously, the national runner-up in Coastal Carolina. But the way they've started this season, Ethan Norby came out struggling, and then they just really couldn't find anything outside of Sean Jenkins on the mound, and the offense was abysmal until the last game. So they did lose to Campbell in the midweek, and they were able to pick up another win last night, so they're sitting at 2-3, I believe, and that's a long 2-3 in the way they've played these games.
Week 1, again, we don't want to overreact. We talk about the NFL and overreaction. People remember what they saw last. As an East Coast guy from UConn, when we got to travel west or when they get the tournaments over in Puerto Rico and all these other places where the warm weather is, the travel does catch up to them. The arms aren't fully ready. Maybe they weren't able to train as properly as the teams down south or the guys out west with the warmer weather. Or let's just be honest, the better facilities here. Overreaction week 1, Matt. Teams, you talked about Oklahoma. Who was and Q brought up, of course, East Carolina. Who were some of the duds in week 1?
Well, I think you could look at UCLA, the consensus number 1 overall. They drop a game to UC San Diego, which isn't a bad team, but again, you kind of expect them to come out and get the 3-0 sweep, or at least I did. And they didn't drop in the polls. I feel like that's pretty normal. But if you're not consistently sweeping with the schedule that they've got, the positioning in the Big Ten, that's going to be a question mark for me. Now, they did end up getting the series win, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. LSU, another team that I thought played really well, and Jay Johnson proves once again that he doesn't rebuild, he just reloads. And the writing seems to be on the wall that this team is once again going to be in contention. They may not have the slump after winning it all last year. Cason Evans looks like the real deal. Cooper Moore pitched his butt off as well. I think this LSU team is going to be very dangerous.
Q.
Matt's stealing the teams right out of my mind. I gave you a dud the first round. I'll give you an overreaction. I think Houston finishing 4-0 down in Puerto Rico. They were a team that a lot of expectations were not met last season. This year, they kind of have a chip on their shoulder. And so for them to start 4-0 and then be able to head home, that's a great feeling for a team that is trying to prove they belong in the Big 12. So to be determined in terms of week 2, 3, and 4, what we see out of the Cougars, but a definite overreaction success for the Cougars in week 1.
We our first show of the year, Matt talked about SEC versus ACC in one of our clips that we did on TikTok's getting hundreds and hundreds of comments. And Matt, I thought you said it best. Listen, you think the SEC is longer, but the top teams in the actually, let me reverse that, right? No, SEC longer, but some of the top teams in the ACC could prove very dangerous. And I think we saw that opening week, correct?
Yeah, I think the biggest question mark for me is Louisville. What is this team going to be? We expected them to be able to take care of business, and they kind of got walloped by Michigan State in the first 2 games, responded well in game 3. North Carolina looks like the real deal. Clemson, Florida State all look like they're going to be able to compete, although Clemson kind of struggled against Army, winning that first game 3-2 with Aiden Knock on the mound. Florida State, to me, they were kind of a sleeper pick to win the ACC. I think they were 4th or 5th in the odds. They looked really good. Miles Bailey looks absolutely like a beast that we all thought he would be. And the pitching staff, they haven't thrown Trey Beard yet, the Florida Atlantic transfer. So we'll see what his role is with that rotation. But as far as Wes Mendez and the rest of the starters, I think they perform pretty well. And then Virginia, I think that's another team that could be dangerous in the right moments. And so, yeah, I think the ACC top to bottom is probably further ahead than the SEC. But as soon as I say that, you get an Oklahoma that kind of shocks the world and jumps up there. So maybe not. Vanderbilt looked absolutely abysmal, though. We'll say that for the SEC. They were a, top 15 team and just completely laid an egg, 0-3.
Q, your thoughts?
I'll give you an ACC team. I thought North Carolina State played really well. Jacob Dudan looked really good. Ryan Marone looked really well. Again, that was down in that Puerto Rico tournament. Their series got cut short due to weather, so they didn't get the full 4-game slate. But then, like you said, Vanderbilt, they started to show some life. They hit a few home runs in the first 2 games, and then it just kind of fell off a cliff. So, maybe they need to get back home into that shortened ballpark to kind of reset and figure themselves out. But, it's a lot of baseball left. Just not optimistic on what they bring to the plate.
Before we get into the today's games, weekend slate, Friday night lights, give us, Matt, your Arkansas report.
Dropped 1 game this past weekend. Offensive struggles look like, which I feel like we talk about it every year in February. Arkansas's offense just hasn't came together yet. The pitchers look outstanding. I think you got really good quality starts out of Gabe Gackle after struggling early, giving up 2 hard hit balls that dropped, but then he shut it down, as well as Cole Gibbler, who came in for relief. Colin Fisher had a great start on Sunday, albeit the bullpen almost gave that one up against Texas Tech. I think Arkansas fans as a whole are wondering where the runs are coming. You're sitting there watching all these other teams play in Globe Life and putting up 10, 11, 12 runs. And, you put 3 across the plate against Tarleton State on Monday, and you're just kind of left questioning everything. Who's going to step up? I think we saw TJ Pompey. He had opportunities and had a lot of swing and misses. You saw Damian Ruiz, who's leading the team in batting average. His on-base percentage is outstanding. But other than that, who's going to step up? Cam Kojal, Ryder Helfrich, the guys that have been there doing it, they looked fine. But you've also got guys like Reese Robinette and Nolan Souza who really struggled to swing the bat this past weekend. So we're looking at Xavier this weekend, who scheduled a gauntlet. They'll go into Fayetteville and give Arkansas all they can handle. And if Arkansas can't continue to swing the bat, I think it could be an interesting weekend, to say the least.
The Big East coming to Fayetteville. Look out, brother. Look out. Q, get Florida Gators.
Liam Peterson struggled Friday. It's a big let's see what he does against Kennesaw State, and then they have a massive matchup coming up with University of Miami. And that's kind of the first tone setter that Florida gets, although they did play Stetson, who is, if you look at the Diamond Report, one of the top 2 teams in the ASUN preseason, and they handled them, I believe, 12-2 and 9-3 in back-to-back days, so that was a bright spot. The offense, though, has looked as good, if not better than they have since 2023. So that's very encouraging. And a lot of it is your younger talent, your Jacob Kendalls, your Cash Strayer. Brendan Lawson has picked up right back where he left off last season, coming into his sophomore year. So again, this is against, less than top tier pitching, but it's a good sign because they struggled last year against these teams. And it just seems like they're having a lot of fun out there. Blake Sear looks back to himself after struggling last season. So I'm really interested to see if that continues. And then the pitching side of things outside of Liam, I thought they all pitched really well. Luke McNeely is coming back, more precautionary. They kept him out of the series against UAB, but he's come back last night, pitched really well. So it's a big TBD until week 3, but this team looks like they're on the better track than they were the last 2 years.
I have DraftKings up in front of me right now. I'm just looking at today's slate. If my mouse will decide to wake up here, bear with me. There we go. Cincinnati, UAB, UConn, Arizona. And I just bring this up because this looks like a spot where you think UConn's got no shot. Arizona minus 195, UConn plus 150, over under of 11.5 there. Okie State, Grand Canyon, Okie State minus 195. Seattle, Cal Baptist minus 475. BYU, Omaha. Not the greatest slates. Wichita State, Hawaii, if you're up late. The Rainbows minus 180. You can get the Shockers plus 140. Start with UQ. Anything today jump out at you?
Yeah, and I hate to do it to you, but I did parlay Cal Baptist and Arizona. Both teams are winless. The one caveat, though, is I do love Jim Penders, but again, UConn's on the road. They started 0-5 last year. That's just something extremely hard to deal with. Arizona, after an abysmal start, gets to come home. Chip Hale's a great manager, so I do like that spot a lot. I think they get the win there, and then Cal Baptist should handle Seattle pretty easily. I'll give you a dog that I really am staring at pretty hard. Is UAB at home against Cincinnati. I know Nathan Taylor's starting. It's a 3 p.m. game. But UAB hit Liam Peterson really well. They to the tune of 4 earned runs, 5 hits, and a few innings. And this is a team that essentially scrapped against Florida. They won last night against Northern Alabama, kind of reset themselves. They're sitting 2-2, and they get to play their first home game, where Cincy has not been at home yet. So it does start to wear on these teams. I like them in an upset spot.
Matt?
I haven't played anything today. The one thing I was looking at was Grand Canyon. They start a 4-game stretch against Oklahoma State. And our website, surprisingly, has Grand Canyon favored. You can get them plus 150 right now, or plus 1.5 at minus 105 on the run line. The UAB pick for Q kind of intrigues me as well. You may look into that. But Nathan Taylor, one of the Big 12 pitchers of the year from the Diamond Report. We'll see if he can rebound and have a good outing. The website has that Cincinnati minus 2.2 runs, so may not be a playable number for me, but definitely interested in watching that one.
Weekend, Friday Night Lights, big series. Q already talked about Miami versus Florida. Matt, where are your eyes this weekend?
Baylor, Oregon State. That's the one that I'm very interested to see if Oregon State's offense picks it up, or if the sophomore Dax Whitney has a good outing. His numbers were not terrible, but he didn't look like he had it. He's got a 355 Sierra right now, which is not great. Lucas Davenport for Baylor is better than him in Sierra, and their weighted runs created are vastly different. Baylor's sitting at 156, Oregon State at 68. It's 56% above average, which Tice Armstrong kind of played a lot into that with hitting 3 grand slams in one game. Outstanding. We'll see if Baylor is sustainable, but the model absolutely loves Baylor in this spot, mainly because of the pitching advantage and a weighted runs created plus advantage. So I think Baylor has a good opportunity. We'll see what that line ends up opening up at, but I think Baylor could take it to Oregon State if they want to.
Q.
I think we have 3 series that could be toss-ups. I'll be at 1, East Carolina and North Carolina. I'm going to go to Greenville Friday night and then travel to Durham Saturday. And this is the game where East Carolina's looked so bad, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ethan Norby zeroes in and pitches well Friday night. And then Van Kempen, a West Virginia transfer, pitches well Saturday. So I'll be at that one covering it. But 2 series that I'm looking at and interested in are Nebraska and Louisville. We talked about Louisville earlier. What team shows up? Nebraska looked pretty well heading into out of week 1. And then one that I just can't get a read on either team, TCU and UCLA. It's just 2 unknowns, in my opinion, 2 obviously preseason top 10 teams. Which team is actually going to show up, and if at all, and if they're going to be any consistency and really show some dominance here in an early series.
I want to make sure everyone sets their calendars, turns on their notifications. Again, we're dealing with StreamYard and Live on X. So until they rectify that, you can head on over to YouTube. I'll make sure I put up that. Every Thursday, 1 o'clock, unless something happens, we'll post it on the timeline. Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Nick Hathcote comes in with the midweek report on what's going on there. Scroll has been going the whole time, as always. You can follow Matt. Let me see here. It's changed a little. At The Insiders, at College Base CNT, at M Grissom, Quentin Mills, of course, at Q Millies. That's 3 L's, 2 Y's. But as we always wrap this up here, Maddie, tell them where they can find all the written work and all the good stuff.
collegebaseballcentral.net. They do a great job of posting articles every day, multiple times a day for you to consume information. We've also got a slew of shows going on every day of the week, so you can follow along on YouTube there. And then, like you said, College Baseball Insiders' new Twitter is The Insiders. And as always, you can follow collegebaseballinsiders.com to get all of the starting pitchers and the models' projections.
Q.
You can find on my Twitter, scrolling there. You can find all of our insights between Matt, Smitty, and Nick and myself at collegebaseballinsiders.com. You just click the Insiders Clubhouse where you'll get all of our advanced insights and where we think the games are headed.
And of course,
also, I will say real quick, the the UCLA TCU game, Tommy Lepore looks like he's going to miss. That's TCU's ace. So be wary of that. If you see a bigger number on TCU and you think, well, why are they plus 200? Because they just had a really good weekend. Just pump the brakes and make sure you focus on who is starting, because it looks like they may be without Noah Franco and Tommy Lepore this weekend.
And make sure you follow these guys and check out their schedules as they're popping on VSiN and the radio and other TV spots. So stay in tuned, follow them, ask questions. They answer them. They're the best in the business, as we are blessed and honored to have them for year 4. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Mr. Matt Grissom at M. Grissom, and of course, Mr. Quentin Mills at Q Millie. That's 3 L's, 2 Y's. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourselves. Let's watch some college baseball and stay tuned.